I want to transition to something else because I really want to
Not for something completely different.
Yeah, I don't want to get on to the porn too much because I know your time is valuable and I really want to get this on record.
Okay.
You've written 3 books.
Yes.
I'm currently in the process of trying to put together what could potentially be my first book.
Yes.
So and I also think this is super interesting for the people who are listening and watching,
yes.
who might have these aspirations. How do you tackle that process?
Structure is everything. I use a tool called mindmeister.
Mindmeister?
Yeah, it's German.
Oh, okay, yeah.
mindmeister.com. And I've used it for every one of my books, and then it basically helps you to make like a tree of your ideas, because usually ideas are like this in my head. It's like all over the place, and you have to force yourself to bring it down to like 3 big parts if you can. 4, maybe 5. To have like only 3 parts is always good.
Okay.
Every story, the story of a life has 3 parts: a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Right.
So this is where you start. Never mind the beginning. Where do you want to end? And how does the middle help you get from the beginning to the end?
Okay.
And as soon as you have these 3 parts, and MindMeister allows you to just drop, copy, paste any text, images, whatever in there. And it creates like a mind map from hell. In my case, last book was yeah, I still have it. It just gets smaller and smaller when you look at it, because you can have these branches up until the 7th level. And the good thing about MindMeister, this tool, is that you can export as a Word document, and it already has the chapters, as in a thesis. Really, it'll go like 1.1, and then you can have 2.3.4. And publishers like that, to have it also allows you to have other people contribute to your book, which is how I wrote a 400-page handbook on digital marketing. I had 31 other digital marketing experts help me with it. It was a Google Doc from hell, really, but we pulled it off. And then there's Grammarly. Don't use the Chrome extension.
Okay.
Because it'll suck away all of your processing power, so you don't want that. Just use the site.
Okay.
And Grammarly is a tool that helps you define at first, what do I want my style to be like? It's a lot more than a spell checker. You will say, I want to sound friendly. I want to talk to an audience that is academic or not. I want to, you just define a few parameters, and then it will not only spell check your text in English, but it will also tell you that this sentence is, far too long winding. People who haven't had a higher education will not understand what you're talking about. So, and it uses artificial intelligence.
I was going to say, sounds like AI.
Yeah. So these are 2 tools that are really important for me. And then after Grammarly, I will always share the document in a Google Doc, so to speak, and then I just let it go. I just let it out there. And that one time, 31 people working, I just let them edit, but I have to approve the edit before it becomes real. And I remember, I use the app. Remember, I don't have a laptop, so I use the Google Doc app. And I had 2,315 edits waiting for me to approve, and there were so many of them that when I opened the app, I could hear it moan. It was like, oh my god! It was,
But you type on your iPad, then that's where you.
Yes. I edit movies on my iPad. I write on my iPad. I recently bought the new iPad Pro. That's one of the things I learned from traveling to Africa, is to travel light, because if you have checked-in luggage, you never know whether you will actually
it'll arrive,
still be there. So I learned how to live out of carry-on only, and then together with the neck issues, I don't want to carry along a heavy laptop and then all the chargers for that. So that's why
And that's it. That's why you're not having a laptop.
Yeah, because it's too heavy. And
I was expecting a very deep philosophical.
No. That's just it. And then when you travel, you have the same charger for your iPhone and for your iPad, and that's it. And everywhere you go, you can work. You can work offline, online, doesn't matter. And same thing for my video material. Is I always want to be able to carry it in my handbag, not backpack. My handbag is a backpack, but I don't want to look like a snail, whenever I arrive somewhere. So that's why I picked my iPhone as my camera, and I'm using Rode clip-on lavalier microphones. I will use the Joby Gorilla Pod as a tripod. I just use all of these things because they are lightweight. And I can start a Facebook Live session from anywhere, basically, even unprepared, with the gear I always have with me. But it all starts with, a bad neck. And it is possible. This is one of the things I learned from YouTube channels is what camera should you use? The one you have.
Yeah.
And only until you literally reach the limits of the hardware, of the software, only then you upgrade. So Imovie, so far, I mean, it's primitive, but I didn't even know what a cutaway was. So you don't start with something from the Adobe Suite or Final Cut Pro or something like that. I just needed something that could allow me to cut out the bloopers, and now I know a lot more. Another tool, not for writing a book, but for editing videos, that's just brilliant. It's called Lumen 5, LUMEN5.com. Again, of course, artificial intelligence, but what it does is just indistinguishable from magic. What you do, I write scripts for the explainer videos that I make. I write scripts and I read the scripts from AutoCue, which is, by the way, just Pages, which is the equivalent of Word for Apple. Pages in presenter mode, and then it'll just scroll slowly, and you can use an Apple remote to start and stop the AutoCue. So I can do everything on my own now. Anyway, Lumen 5. You copy-paste the script into a box, and then it'll just automatically find music and scenes from stock video with an animation of your text in it. It'll just come up with a story in 5 or 6 scenes, and it looks good like 70% of the time, but at least you don't have to type in like businesswoman shaking hands with. It'll just assume from what you feed it with what type of images fit best with what you are looking for, and then you have a starting point. The only thing you have to do is to fine-tune it, and wow, that's just Lumen 5. I vividly remember my life before Lumen 5 and after it. It's different as a professional. So tools will not magically turn you into a professional, but this is one of the things that I love about the whole digital sphere, is that nowadays, with this consumer-centric philosophy behind doing business, whose problem are you solving? And there's so many developers and designers who do that and who think, okay, there's got to be more in life than having just a spell checker. People want to learn about the style that they're using, and they want this artificial intelligence to learn from them, so that you don't have to like type in the parameters every time you upload another Word document. So the last tool that I use is called readwise. .io. It's just a couple of guys from Canada, and they were solving the following problem. So I read a lot of management books, but in Kindle format. I have like a big literal library like those two guys. I have a library like that at home.
At home?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you'd have to use all walls in this house to host my books, but those are fiction books. If I read a management book, I read it in Kindle format, because then I can mark paragraphs and then go back to these paragraphs and then cite them in my books, for example. But after a while you think, yeah, I'm going to go back at those notes, and you don't. So readwise synchronizes with the notes you made and the paragraphs you marked as interesting in the Kindle format, and then serves it back to you in a daily email or in the app, so you can kind of train yourself. Now, I use it for a completely different thing. I'm deliberately publishing more on LinkedIn because a large part of my audience, people who would book me for a keynote speech, for example, is active on LinkedIn. And you have to post now. LinkedIn wants to be like Facebook, so LinkedIn wants you to post stuff, and preferably not a link. So I post, I'm just one of those calendars now, you know, I post like a quote from a book basically every day on LinkedIn. And this is made easy for me by Readwise, because they will email me every day 5 potential quotes, and they look good. I mean, it's just an image, but it looks really good from a graphical point of view. And I just have to pick one of those 5, upload it to LinkedIn, get some LinkedIn algorithm juice, and look smart at the same time. So thank you, Readwise.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you need help making better decisions in your life? Are you lacking self-confidence and motivation to get things done? Hire me today and get a direct daily line of communication with me through video chat and audio messages. I operate on a week-to-week basis, so no long-term investment is required. 7 straight days of Viking advice will get you right on track. Email me at lorenz.dries@gmail.com and change your reality. I'm ready whenever you are. See you soon.